Let's take our first email. Matt from Illinois. Greetings. I'm a new convert to the Catholic faith, and I have a question about the sacrament of reconciliation. I understand that it is necessary for the forgiveness of mortal sins, but what are the benefits of regularly going to confession when one has committed only venial sins?
Oh, wow. I preached on this Sunday. So thank you for that question. The Holy Father, Pope John Paul II, called this a confession of devotion, that we go to confession to seek the forgiveness of our venial sins. And the purpose of this is twofold. One, every time you go to confession, you receive sanctifying grace. Now, who can't use more sanctifying grace in their life? The other danger of venial sins, and this is in the Catechism, is the Catechism clearly teaches that if we ignore venial sins and allow them to remain unconfessed, that it makes it much easier for us to slide into mortal sin. And it reminds me of the passage in which where Jesus tells the story of the steward, who the master goes away and he gives 3 guys some money. And he says, invest this and take care of it. And then he comes back and he tells each of them, if you have been faithful in small things, then I will put you in charge of great things. And so we want to think of that in our spiritual life. If I tolerate venial sin in my life, am I really being faithful to Christ? Because the bottom line is, no one goes to heaven unless they are free from all attachment to sin, and that includes venial sin. And so our goal in this life is to strive for sanctity, to strive to become saints. And we will only do that when we get serious about rejecting the drag of sin, which includes venial sin. I have a hard time believing that most people who are going to Mass and praying are going to be walking around in a state of mortal sin. But most of us struggle daily with a proliferation of venial sins in our life. And the Lord wants us to experience His healing and His sanctifying power in that area of our life and become saints.
You know, I was thinking that's really the same thinking behind why the Church expects us to have days of fasting, days of abstinence, and sometimes it might seem, what's the big deal of giving up meat, on Friday, or giving up something and saying, what's the big deal? Because it's the same thing. We're training ourselves, training our soul, our conscience to deal with the hard stuff.
Self-will. In fact, one of the funny stories that I tell is last Lent I gave up Oreo cookies. I love Oreo cookies, double stuff. But I made the point with my people in the parish. I said, if I can't resist a cookie, how will I be able to resist the devil? How will I be able to resist a serious temptation if I can't say no to a little cookie? And therein, training the self-will is so vitally important to the life of the Christian.
Yeah.